my name is Maria, and today I'm going to show you how to complete ladder stitch. Ladder stitch is a technique that can be used on its own, but it's more commonly used as the base for other stitches like herringbone. It's going to be a really quick and easy tutorial, and let's get into it. For this project, you're just going to need a few delicate beads. I'm using size 11. You can really use any size or type of seed bead that you like. I just find delicates sit really nicely, better than the rounded seed beads. And I'm using a size 10 needle and beading thread. I believe this is Wildfire. I will leave the links to the products that I'm using in the blog post, and the link for that post will be in the description box below. So let's get started. To begin our ladder stitch, I'm going to add 2 beads onto my needle, and I'm going to slide those down my thread. And we're not making an actual project, I'm really just showing you the ladder stitch technique. And next week we will use this technique to create a bracelet project. So this is just so you get the hang of it and you can practice and become familiar with it if you're not already. So from the tail end of my project here, I'm going to pass back through just the very first bead that I put on. And when I pull those beads, pull the thread tight, those beads sit side by side just like that. And then I'm going to pass down through the second bead towards my tail, and that puts me into position to add another bead onto my strip of ladder stitch here. So I'm going to pick up a single delicate, and I'm going to pass through that second delicate from the side opposite where my working thread is exiting. So you can see here my working thread is coming out down towards me, and I'm passing through from the other side of the bead down towards where my working thread is. And you always want to do that as you continue your ladder stitch. So when you pull tight, and sometimes the beads don't quite sit straight, but as you work with them, if you're using this as a base for herringbone, it doesn't matter so much. It will straighten up as you work. So that bead is now sitting alongside the other 2, and I'm going to pass up through that third bead just to get into position to add another bead. So I'm going to pick up one, and again I'm going to pass up through that last bead that I added from the side opposite where the working thread is exiting. Pull, and that puts the final bead in place. And then I'm going to go down through that 4th bead. I'm just going to go through it a couple more times so you get the hang of it. So I'm going to pick up one delicate, and once again pass through the final bead from the side opposite where the working thread is exiting, and pull. Sometimes you have to work the beads into place. They don't always sit as they should the first time around. And then pass up through that last bead. And finally, I'm going to pick up one last bead and pass through that 5th bead. And then continue down through the final one I added. So now you have a lovely strip of ladder stitch here. And if you were working with, if you were going to be using this in a flat herringbone tutorial, and I've done one of those before, I will link that video in the description box below, then you can work from here and it will be fine. But if you're going to use this ladder stitch in tubular herringbone like we will be next week, I am going to show you how to turn that into the base for that tubular herringbone. So you need to turn it into a circle because, as I said, it's tubular herringbone. You need to create a tube. So right now we're coming out of the 6th bead. Oh, and also forgot to mention, for herringbone, you're going to want an even number of beads for your base. So whether it's 4, 6, 8, however many you want, you're going to need an even number. So just make sure you have that before you continue. So I'm coming out of my 6th bead here, and I'm going to pass up through my first bead from the tail end. Let me just get this in my hand, make it a little easier on myself. There you go. So go pass up from the tail end of that bead. And then we're just going to pull that through. And, oh, sorry. As you pull, it turns into a circle. But you can see that the connection is not quite complete because at the top here, we don't have any thread. You only have a loop at the bottom. So to complete that connection, I'm going to pass down through the 6th bead. And I'm really trying to hold it so you can see. So I'm going to pass down through that 6th bead. And when you pull everything tight, that completes the connection between the first and the last bead. Now, if you are adding to the top of this, you're going to want to get away from your tail thread, because you can use your tail thread to add a clasp or whatever. So, you know, it makes sense to bead away from your tail thread. So to do that, you just need to pass back through that first bead one more time, and you're good to go. Now you're in position to add more beads on here, and then at the end you can use your tail thread to add a clasp. So I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and understood it. You can find the links to the materials that I used in the blog post, and I will leave that link in the description box below as well. So I really hope you enjoy this tutorial. I will see you in next week's video. Bye bye.